Dímelo, mi gente, Mark Cucci here again, bringing you a video, and today we're going to be talking about BlackRock's CEO, Larry Fink, and his views on tokenization, where we are in the space, and if we are in a bubble. A lot of people recently have been talking, oh, we're in a bubble, it's going to pop sometime soon. I personally don't think so, but we're going to hear his thoughts, as well as why you should not doubt this man. He's one of the most powerful humans in all planet Earth, and Joe Moglia talks a little bit about it and kind of his views on debts and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to start off by saying, the world's largest asset manager sees tokenization as the next frontier. And sorry if my voice is a little bit raspy. I went to a concert on Saturday and I woke up a little sick on Thursday and yesterday. So sorry about that. We're just at the beginning of tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds across the board. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock. So we're just going to hear what he has to say and kind of his views and thoughts on where we're going.
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds across the board. There's $4.1 trillion of money sitting globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we could tokenize an ETF, digitize that ETF, we could have investors who are just beginning to, invest in markets through, let's say, crypto. They're investing in it, but now we could get them into the more traditional long-term retirement products. So we look at that as the next wave of opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years, as we start moving away from traditional financial assets by repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem.
So I think this is pretty clear and concise. Obviously, tokenization is going to be the next biggest thing, and he even mentioned it. There's $4.3 trillion in digital assets all across the globe. That are not, most of it is not here in the United States. They want to capture that. BlackRock, every single big financial institution is trying to capture that money, creating traditional, like ETFs and financial products, but just digitalize them, bring them more to the mainstream, bring them global. And I think that's just a huge, huge positive. I think it's going to be the next era of finance. Like they're saying, the next era of finance isn't coming, it's already here. So I do tend to agree with that. Now we're going to, be listening about if we are in an AI bubble and why these massive investments are kind of needed. And this one is specifically for my dad. My dad is always telling me we're in a bubble. AI. He's like, oh my God, OpenAI is investing in Oracle and this and that. And it's just like a whole cycle. So this one, Dad, is for you.
Just get your take on the broader AI picture. I mean, the amount of money that is being committed by OpenAI, for example, is what we've been talking about, to companies. And just the enormity of this capital. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like it in your career. And I'm curious as to how you view it and whether you think that those who use the word bubble are correct in that usage.
Well, there's a bubble in investing, but are we inferring a bubble means a bad thing? But there is certainly a skyrocketing amount of capital that's being put to work. If you put it in a framework of geopolitical positioning, we as a country need these investments if we're going to be the leader in AI technology. So as an American, I'm pretty happy that we're investing this much money. I want us to be first. So
basically, he's saying, yes, there's a bubble, but we need this bubble if we want to be the leaders in AI, crypto, and all that kind of stuff. And I do tend to agree with him.
Let's start there. Does that mean, is there going to be some failures within the confines of these investments? Absolutely. But I do believe we are going to have to invest these huge sums of money. If you think about it, investing in AI does not just mean investing in GPUs and chips. It means investing in HVAC and investing in power grids and power supplies. It means employing a lot of people, too, to build this out. So we are talking $1.5 trillion, we estimate, just on data centers and power and all that. But if you see the rapid need in advance, I could say at BlackRock, the amount of information that we are trying to generate ourselves and the speed in which we want to generate, we're spending more and more on it, and we're getting good results on it. I believe every major company is going to have to be spending more and more on this. I think some of the investments that we've seen so far is not on AI, it's more on cloud and the power of the cloud. So I do believe I don't believe this is a bubble, but I believe this is capital that in most cases is going to be well spent. That being said, will there be one or two failures in that? Absolutely. And that is capitalism. We're going to have some big winners and we're going to have some big losers. And obviously we have to, but if you have
So yeah, there you have it. I do tend to agree with him. Obviously, these investments are really needed today. Some of the job numbers came out really flat. I think it was like since 2008 or 2009 that the job numbers haven't been this bad. So these investments are needed, and whether people like it or not, people are not going to agree with it, but inflation is pretty much needed. It's really funny because if you go to the comment section, a lot of people kind of resonate. They say what he's saying is that he thinks the bubble is going to pop soon, and he still has money in there. He wants you to put your money in so he can get his out. We don't need a massive investment in AI, but he needs it for the stock market to continue being up. And translation: billionaires want citizens' tax dollars to replace tax payers in the workplace. So I tend to not agree with it. I think AI is going to be a supplement and help people out. Obviously, some jobs are going to be, I was just talking to my brother and he was like, my job, someone is going to do it and some AI is going to do it. I'm trying to, start something else and do something with AI. So yeah, if you're not into AI or if you don't, you're not studying it, I think you're going to be left behind. And that's honestly the unfortunate truth. And yeah. But why you should be listening to Larry Fink and why this is so important, and we're gonna hear from Joe Moglia. He was at TD Ameritrade, I think it was, or he was in one of those places. He was also a football coach for Coastal Carolina, which I found pretty interesting. So let's hear what he has to say about Mr. Larry Fink.
There are so many companies out there now that are Ethereum treasury companies. They go public, they are public, their stocks skyrocket. I mean, what is so intriguing? What is so interesting about a company that is designed to acquire an asset?
Well, I think for the most part, the people that grew up in the Web3 world and the DeFi world really are on top of their game. But it's a lot of people in the traditional finance world that still tend to struggle with this a little bit. So if you think about where the future is, 5 years from now, there's not going to be a stock, there's not going to be an option, there's not going to be a mutual fund, ETF, anything that's not in effect tokenized. Stablecoins. 5 years ago, nobody heard about stablecoins. Today, we've got about $280 billion market. And Secretary Bessent had said that two years from now, we'll probably have a $2 trillion market. Ethereum is about 60% of that. So Ethereum's got its own blockchain, and it's got programmable smart contracts that, in effect, can do really complex financial institutional type transactions, especially overseas, that can be done almost instantaneously today, and that's going to be the way of the future. So 5 years from now, the market that we know of today, the exchanges, 24/7 markets and settlement, et cetera, that's going to be the way of the future. And I'm not sure traditional finance has necessarily quite accepted that yet.
All right, Joe.
And he's speaking facts. Honestly, traditional finance is not accepting this, and they obviously don't want it to happen as fast as it's happening today. We're seeing a lot of great applications, a lot of great companies being built on Ethereum, Solana. They're making millions and billions of dollars in revenue, and traditional players are losing out. They're not being... a lot of people are taking their money out and putting it in crypto and digital assets and a lot of that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying it's going to happen right away, but I think in the next 5 to 10 years is going to be so amazing, and it's completely different.
You got to tell us this, all right? You're a market legend, and you really are somebody who democratized a lot of technology to a lot of investors out there. At what point did you ever think that you would be the chairman of a company that is buying digital assets? Because Larry Fink was on 60 Minutes last night, and he's being questioned. At some point, he didn't think crypto was a thing, and now he recommends everybody should own some.
Well, that's because he used to be a real traditional finance guy. Now he's a DeFi guy, and he's a Web3 guy, and he appreciates the future. I mean, Larry's a pretty bright guy, right? You don't want to go against Larry, but maybe this was 13 years ago when my partner, Kyle Sermonero, and I founded actually Fundamental Global LLC. And then the different things that we've looked at since then, and Kyle's always been thoughtful in terms of what the future might be. And then when we started to look at the DATs, the digital asset treasuries, and we met Maya Vorinovich, who is in charge of our digital asset strategy. The combination of all those for us, when you think about the future and you think what's going on, to me, this is still the early stages. It's kind of like Ethereum in an equity wrapper. It's not just Ethereum by itself. It's an Ethereum with an equity wrapper.
So yeah, there you have it. There are Joe's thoughts, especially why, Larry Fink is so bullish on this. I think, it's going to be, it's the next big thing, tokenization, real world assets, everything that's happening. at Ondo, all throughout Ethereum, Solana, whatever it may be, the future of traditional finance is going to be on-chain, and I am really super bullish for it. So if you like the video, please always remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.